Hello, Marco again. And last month I talked about what I liked about fanfics. But this month I'm going to talk about what other people like about fanfics and also the reasons why they like to write them. I asked people on deviantart this question and I'm going to quote some of their answers and give my own reasons for why they ring so true to me. Some of them may have given the same reasons I have given, but they have given a much better explanation of why they like to read them, so I'm going to quote some of them right now. The first person I'm going to quote is DeviantArt user Mr. Soulad. To be honest, I like how people can put their own spin on an established franchise or bring a fresh air to an otherwise formulaic series. For rare and extremely awesome cases, fanfiction can evolve into an expanded universe that is in a sense completely canon, and that is when it's most inspirational. Sometimes I just like seeing my favorite characters in new and interesting situations. And the most meta reason, it's a great way to not only show support for the series, but also to draw inspiration from. Worded bluntly, even if writing in such a manner can never be done professionally, it's still a load of fun. And in the end, that's worth more than any paycheck. Fun is priceless. End quote. This DeviantArt user's reasons for reading and writing fanfiction is the fun of reading and writing itself. The enjoyment of making changes to the original story of the original franchise, or being the reader who finds those stories with those interesting changes that you were searching for. And the fun of getting inspiration of other fanfics for your own stories. And although there is a way to get paid for it with Patreon, but not every fanfic writer does that, and I don't recommend it unless your fanfics are very popular or have many followers. And in my opinion, I think Patreon on fan projects is more something for fan comics than for fanfics. Now the second quote from this DeviantArt user, Hoshi no Senshi. As a writer, I like fanfiction for the purpose of explaining the unexplained. In other words, taking something from the canon that lacks elaborate info and filling in that blank myself with my own ideas. This is especially fun to do when the fandom you're writing for lacks a great deal of information and is a small fandom, because this opens the window of opportunity for you to apply more of your own ideas and allows for much more flexibility in how creative you can get. And as a writer, I like it as a way to see what ideas others come up with and what non-canon adventures they can come up with for the canon characters. Sometimes I'll even get inspiration from reading other people's stories and find new concepts that I like and may use in my own stories and artwork. End quote. This DeviantArt user's reason for writing fanfiction is fixing plot holes and adding extra story to a franchise that lacks it and putting his own ideas of how that world works into the story, which in my opinion is best to be done with shows that already have finished and or were never really big on the storytelling part in the first place. Just take a look at My Little Pony Friendship is Magic fanfiction from 5 years ago. The show is already 7 years old as of this recording, and you can see that those plot holes those stories try to fill are already filled by the show's own staff. And as a reader, it is to see the changes that other people can make to an original franchise, but he also reads them to find inspiration for his own stories and artwork, because other people's work can also be a great source for new ideas. Now the last quote, and this one is of DeviantArt user Kaizen Kitty. As a writer, it's an awesome tool to learn how to write stories and to hone your craft. You get more feedback on it than original writing, and especially when you're just starting out writing, feedback helps. It helps a lot. Besides, it gives you a ready-made universe to practice with, which was amazing for me as a kid because most 10-year-olds don't have enough life experience to come up with realistic characters of their own. And as a reader, when I read a good story, I want to go on. When I like the characters, I want to spend more time with them, read more about them, and most books, movies, series don't have sequels. Most of them are standalones or they mercilessly kill characters off. And that's when I turn to fanfiction. End quote. This person's reason for writing is to learn how to write stories. He uses a ready-made universe with a basic story skeleton. And that is a very good reason to start writing fanfiction. You can learn how to write with other people's characters, dissect them, learn how they have been written, and learn how stories are structured. And as a reader, he gives the main reason why people like to read in general, the love of the story and its characters. But he also gives the reason why people go to fanfiction in general, to get a sequel to a story that you might think deserves one, and has more story potential, or wanted to change something that you might think shouldn't have happened, like your favorite character being killed off or something else. I think that these three people all have given nice explanations about what they like about reading and writing fanfiction, from the fun of reading and writing, expanding the universe of the original franchise, making your own fan universe within the canon one, learning how to write stories, to the amazing fan-made characters of other people. Those are the reasons why I and other people like reading and writing fanfiction. I hope by seeing and hearing this that you will start reading fanfiction for yourself and maybe write one your own. I hope you like this video and please like and subscribe to my channel.